Another beautiful day today in the second half of July. It's around 10:40, obviously in the morning. Bees are starting to get out, not as busy as I expect them to be by midday. See, that one's doing well. This one I need to put a queen excluder on. A few splits over there. These two at the back here were splits early in the spring. See, one's done a lot better than the other. It's because the one on the right has requeened. I've noticed a few colonies this year have requeened more than once, and I just assume that's been down to the prolonged spell of bad weather that we had. Heavy rain for the best part of 2 weeks solid, just when some of these colonies had new queens in them, and then for whatever reason, perhaps poor mating, the colonies have rejected those queens and created new ones. I heard the new queen piping in that right hand side one. The entrance is on the other side, they're facing in opposite directions, both on underfloor entrances. That super's above crown board at the moment because they weren't looking big on numbers when I checked them last week. I just don't want to give them too much space. That one's doing well. I'd like to move that deep down. There's a reason there are 3 shallows at the bottom. These were a split from a brood and a half box early in the spring. I think I split 2 really strong colonies that came out of the winter, all guns blazing. I had to split them at the beginning of April because they were creating queen cells and they were bursting out of the boxes I had. This one here, although there's a couple of deeps there, you'll see that the upper deep is over a feeder. Oh, there's a wasp there having a little look. That's because that's a drone laying queen in there. I want to have a look at those because I suspect they're quite low on numbers now. But that drone laying queen, might have to make a judgment on them. We'll see if the queen that they were making last week has emerged yet. At least I'll put a frame of brood in there. I see a bee washboarding just inside the entrance, which is quite interesting and amusing. I don't know if you can pick it up on this. Strange. Have a look in there. And this one's also requeening. Oh, plenty of bees at the entrance. Although it's early in the day, I'd expect to see more than that. We're in a flow right now, which is fantastic. We've had a prolonged flow after so much rain. I'm hoping for a reasonable honey crop this year. It'll be my biggest honey crop because last year I began beekeeping in June and only got like a super and a half off of the 2 colonies that I had that I got from a swarm. As you can see, I've upscaled the operation quite a bit since then. Now these guys, these guys here came out of the prolonged period of rain with dysentery on the entrance. I cleaned all that up and they've been fine since. And these guys I put a second deep on top about 10 days ago because they were bursting at the seams. So those 2 were split at the same time, but the one on the right just had a few problems. These have requeened and have been trying to requeen again since. Every time I come here I have to knock down 1 or 2 queen cells, even though the queen's laying really well. So I just need to get it out of their system, I think, because we can't just have constant requeening. They're on double deep. I did put a few frames of brood in there from the resource hive, which is that tall nuke over there. Great, so let's jump in. Here we're on the first hive. This is number 8. confusingly. We got a double deep brood configuration with a two shallows over the top as supers. We've got these deeper frames here, and this is all nectar. They're doing quite well considering that they've requeened, which dropped the numbers. I put about 3 frames of sealed brood in there 2 weeks ago just to keep them going. I've yet to look in the brood chamber, where I'm expecting to see queen cells again, 1 or 2. They need to settle down with this queen. But otherwise, plenty of bees across all frames. Quite happy with that. Just get them nice and tidy. Difficult with one hand. Let's have a look downstairs. This is the second super, or the lower super if you like. I don't know if you can see, but yeah, they've largely capped that off. Not all of it, but I'm feeling confident they'll finish that off. If they can finish these 2 shallows, that's fantastic for this summer. For them. So I'm in the upper deep brood box here, and immediately I can see I've given them too much to do. When I added this second deep, I put frames of brood in here. It's great that they've managed to draw out 2 frames of foundation, but these are all out undrawn, and it's obvious I've given them way too much to do. I'm expecting them to draw all this out, which is a phenomenal amount of work, and finish those 2 supers of honey. It's way too much. So this is something I've been a little bit guilty of this year, is expecting too much from some of these colonies, particularly when there's been a little bit of queen mating issues. I was just keen to get the significant colonies onto double deeps. So what I'm going to try and do is reduce this down into 1 brood box, so they can focus on filling that with honey and capping. Right, might need to be a small change to plan, because I'm not finished inspecting. I've already found 11 frames of brood. That includes the upper deep as well, which means I can't really reduce it down to 1, because I'm probably going to find 15 frames of brood here, as well as the 2 newly drawn foundation frames as well. So there might be a plan B, and I'll try and pillage further the resource hive that I have to see if I can get some more frames of brood out there, or at least drawn comb, and pack out that second brood box a bit more, so at least I get it 2/3 full of drawn comb, so there's less work for them to do, and that'll get them onto a double deep. I know some people prefer single deep. I'm trying double deep because potentially it's a bit of a lower management overhead for me. The colony will always have that more room than it needs in the brood area. I won't need to be so careful and available for regular maintenance, which supposedly, reportedly, a single deep just takes that little bit more management time than the double deep alternative. So, going to tidy this up. Speak soon. Right, I've taken 3 frames of mostly capped, a little bit of brood in all stages, and put them in here. So there's just 4 frames of foundation waiting for them to fill out in that second deep. So a little bit of work for them. They're on the outside, so it's the outer 2 on each side. Hopefully the population boost will help them do the work that's needed, and then the autumn flow will help them get the resources they need to overwinter, which they'll do in these 2 deeps.